But for some reason it didn't. There we go. It didn't fucking. There we go. I hit add to stream, but it didn't add me. That's weird. Okay, let's try this again. I was saying how um our intrepid provincial government has made the decision last second to close schools for what they swear on everything they hold dear. Like I was waiting for Doug Ford, honestly, to go, I swear to God, guys, this is just gonna be for 2 weeks. Because he kept repeating, this is just 2 weeks. This is just a limited time thing. This is just 2 weeks. You know how on the playground when somebody was saying something that nobody believed, and they would start saying, like, I swear on my mom's grave, stuff like that. I was waiting for Doug Ford to say that shit. I really was. So yeah, apparently schools are doing online learning until the 17th. But I am fully expecting come the 14th or 15th that they will be announcing that it's going to be pushed back till the 31st of January, and that they're going to go back in February. And that'll just be for 2 more weeks. They promise, they promise, they promise. And yeah. I've already sent my oldest kid's teacher an email. Basically, as soon as the announcement about schools was over, I sent her an email and I was like, listen, I'm not doing Google Meet again. I'm not doing it. Send me what you guys are working on. We'll print it out. He'll do the worksheets, but he's not doing Google Meet. Hello, what's up?
Ignore me.
Okay. I haven't heard back from her, but I have a feeling she's getting probably a majority of the classmates of my son, their parents, are probably sending very similar emails. Because it's ridiculous. Nothing is temp when the government runs it. Nope. I ran out of green and I think I see a doobie, lol. You probably see a one-hitter. So, yeah, it's very frustrating. I just, especially because his brother isn't in daycare anymore, right? His brother's in actual school now, and I have no idea how they plan on doing remote learning for freaking junior kindergartners. And he's not doing that at all. I'm not, no. So, like, and there's no way, like, parents with, first, second, third, fourth graders who have younger siblings, I guarantee you are having the same thought process that I'm having of, I am not going to try and get my kid to focus on a Google Meet while their sibling is jumping around in the background and also trying to get on camera with them. So,
calm the thing down. The easiest thing for the small one, we have a playroom filled with kindergarten toys and learning devices for kindergartens.
Yeah, but you don't.
And you can do 1 + 1 + 1 + 2. It's basic.
No, it's
you
but
wanted no. You wanted to do homeschooling. Remember, you kept threatening homeschooling, right?
Right.
Well, start with him. Next topic.
This will be as temporary as income tax. At least income tax does some good. Fuck, man. Okay. Let's start with the oldest article that I have. So apparently the Civil Liberties Association has weighed in on Quebec's curfew nonsense. Because it should. we're literally taking a ginormous step backwards. Spittle buggies! Hello, hello. So, Civil Liberties Association condemns Quebec's COVID-19 curfew and private gathering ban. So not limiting people, like not recommending that they limit, just outright banning private gatherings. Oh God. God bless Quebec. Let's see here. The cat just looked at Pink Hollow like, I'm not going anywhere. Ha! That's Ninja. Montreal, a civil rights advocacy organization, has condemned Quebec's COVID-19 curfew as well as its ban on private gatherings. As well it should. Care Swivel, that's kind of a funny name, director of Fundamental Freedoms and acting general counsel for the Canadian Civil Liberties Association, said the government has presented no evidence that a curfew will work to slow the spread of the virus. No, because viruses don't wear watches. Viruses do not care what time of day it is. They will infect you whenever and wherever you are. Maybe I shouldn't say that. François Legault might go, oh no, and just force everyone to stay in their homes all the time. Quote, a curfew is particularly problematic because it purports to empower police officers to stop and question individuals simply for being outdoors at certain times of the day, Swipple said in a statement issued Friday evening. Yeah. Or even when you're not breaking curfew, stuff like, I'm sorry, are you going out for an essential reason? Yes, I'm going out so I don't burn my house down because I'm sick of being inside it. That's what people are going to start saying. You mean they don't have little atom-sized Rolexes? And a punch clock, says Duck Dog. Well done, Duck Dog. So how's Canada stand, says Blind Ryan. Oh, frustrating. Oh, frustrating. Oi, you got a license for that outdoors? Yeah, apparently not. Quote, the burden of these police stops is likely to fall disproportionately on racialized individuals and other marginalized groups. Oh, fuck off. You had to ruin your argument with that bullshit, didn't you? You had to do that, didn't you? It can't damage everybody. It can't be bad for everyone. You've got to play the fucking race card. You could always move to America, the land of the slightly freer, until Biden fucks that up. Yeah, no thanks. My healthcare, the fact that my healthcare is like, I have the choice of public healthcare Or if something requires immediate attention, I can go to a private healthcare. Like, yeah, no, I'm good. The 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew came into effect on Friday evening, one day after Premier Francois Legault announced the measure at a news conference in Montreal. Amid warnings of the province's healthcare system was at risk of being overrun by COVID-19 patients. Despite the fact that numerous people who are experts have come forward and said that reports of hospitalization with COVID are skewed by adding in people who are there for other reasons who are asymptomatic. That is been proven. Been proven. Let's see. The devil you know, eh? Yeah. Yeah, but see, Ryan, like, my example is, right, for when I got sick and lost my sight, had my family lived in the States, even, even had they been on Medicaid or Medicare, right, I would have inherited the debt that my parents would have gotten for my illnesses and my eye surgery, like my eye removal, and the fact that I was in a private room because I was so contagious. They didn't want me anywhere near the NICU babies. Um, Here, all of that was covered. The German police keep stopping people, says Duck Dog. Do they not understand that it looks really bad 90 years after the, shit. Let's see. Um, so, what does this say now? It's, quote, it's an extreme action to take, Legault told reporters, quote, because the situation is extreme. How many times are you going to say extreme? Like, so if you work over 10, you'll have a cop stopping you. Nice to see the cops stopping real crimes. Right, Ghost Dog? So yeah, if you are somebody that has a shift, like a night shift, like I don't know, a 3 to 1 or a 5 to 1, you know, yeah, the cops are gonna be like, "Excuse me, why are you out?" Swibble said the CCLE is also concerned about the province's ban on private gatherings, adding the association would like to see the measures reconsidered. It's also calling for the province to be clear about how it will decide when the measures are lifted. Yeah, there's a reason they're not being clear on when the measures are lifted. He'll say it an annoyingly extreme number of times. He will, yes. Quebec is the only province in Canada to use a curfew as part of its efforts to control the spread of COVID-19. A previous curfew introduced in early January 2021 was in effect for more than 5 months. The new curfew has been criticized by the 4 opposition parties in the province's legislation. Meanwhile, as of Saturday, neither the ministerial decree nor the government website listed an exemption for people walking their dogs, a provision of the province's previous curfew. An older version of the website, obtained through the Internet Archive, shows that dog walking was included on the list of exemptions posted on the government's website Friday, but has since been removed. No dog walking for you. None of that. Lord Famine. Okay, so the Civil Liberties Association of Canada is very upset with Quebec. We should all be very upset with all of our leaders. As I was saying on Twitter today, it's no longer, oh, look how bad Australia is. Oh, look how bad Canada is. Oh, look how bad Britain is. No, we are all equally getting really badly screwed over by our governments. And our governments are relying on that old international rivalry to keep us divided and distracted. Because the minute we stop pissing on each other over how shit our countries are, and we start talking about it and agreeing that our governments are screwing us and we come together to stop it, the more they can just carry on. I keep likening our governments to that person that's got like 3 or 4 partners that they're not poly, like they're pretending to be monogamous with 5 or 6 different people, and the 5 or 6 different people finally find out about each other, but instead of coming together and exposing what a piece of garbage they're all screwing, they just hate each other. That is what's going on right now on a nation scale. It's almost like if you give a mouse a cookie, he'll ask for a glass of milk. Yep. Exactly. Let's see. World Star Wide. Okay, Twitter, why are you being a jerk? Let me close that and reopen it. That's what I'm going to have to do. There we go. Let's get this reopened here. Sorry, I had to close Twitter because it wasn't letting me open anything. That was really annoying. Okay, let's see here. So yeah, that's what's going on here in Ontario and Quebec. So let's move on to something else. Apparently, there is an article that has just been sent to me, but since Twitter won't let me click on things, okay, here we go. Direct messages. Oh, this feels nice. I have to apologize as well for pushing the stream back a half an hour. My freaking youngest child last week left a Mega Bloks wagon at the bottom of the stairs, and I stepped on it as I was coming down and basically did a lunge while walking. So ever since then, my back's been worse than usual. And the cold of the cottage, like, really didn't help. So I took a really hot bath with some very, very potent CBD bath salts. So I can't feel my back anymore. I just missed 10 minutes. Oh no, that's fine. Wikipedia snippet. Welcome to the stream. I've got to ask for a new router, says Mitchell. Ah. The joys of needing a new router. I totally understand that. Okay. So we're going to read a nice little article because on New Year's Eve, Miss Betty White passed away. And of course, if you were watching the coffee stream on Friday, we said a little bit of a toast to her. But we're going to read a bit of an article here that was just sent to me. And then we're going to read some of the other stuff that I have. Because I have a whole bunch of stuff today. I went and gathered a bunch of stuff. And a lot of it is science. Space science, specifically. I think I've got about 4 different space type stories. So there's a lot to go over. All right. Here we go. And this is from the Toronto Sun. So, Betty White was the best of the best, says Don Cheadle. Is that how you pronounce that? Cheadle or Chettle? I've never been able to remember how to pronounce Don's name. I've heard of... Anyway. Cheadle? Okay. So voiceover was correct. Voiceover actually pronounced the name correctly for once. Hooray, voiceover. Okay. Don Cheadle has hailed Betty White as the, quote, best of the best. Well, yeah. Betty White was just awesome. I had a couple of children's books on tape that were narrated by her. It was a series of children's books called A Day At. It was like a day at the zoo, a day at the farm, and it was surrounding a little girl and her dog, and her best friend. And Betty White narrated them. And I loved listening to them. Betty White was so good at narrating them. It was, it was just great to listen to. Blind press, I use Thermacare heat wraps when my back hurts. I should, I don't know, like, I've tried the, maybe the Thermacare might help, because the icy hot never worked. Like the 5H or H5 or whatever it is. H535 or whatever that really stinky mint stuff is. The 57-year-old actor has taken to Twitter to pay a heartfelt tribute to the Hollywood star who passed away on New Year's Eve at the age of 99. Like, she literally was, I think, 2 weeks away from her 100th birthday? "99 years old and still too soon, still a shock." Yep. Almost made it to 100, says Wikipedia snippet. Yep. She was awesome. And she was so, like, Whether she was acting in a part, whether she was just speaking to you, she was always funny. She always had that sharp wit and that the way of delivering it, like the way that she almost sounded childlike, but she had this subtle sharp wit, and she could lay it on. She could dish it out. It was great. Like listening to her roast people was amazing. I get a CBD bear oil rub from my lower back and it's like instant. Ooh, that might be good. 17 days away. Damn. Yeah, odds a CBD rub that would be nice. The bath salt I soaked in for an hour was a CBD bath salt. It was nice. Dawn, who starred along the actress in the CBS series The Golden Girls, wrote on the microblogging platform, quote, Betty was the best of the best. When we were shooting scenes together, it was difficult wait, for the DP, okay, director of photography, to get the lighting right between my chocolate and Betty White. She was either a ghost or I was the shadow. I came on set one day and Betty had darkened her makeup up up slightly, her hair a bit, uh, in an attempt to accommodate for it. Nobody asked her to do it. And that's just one small example of her overflowing generosity. Aw, that's cute. Oh, that's really cool. My dogs thank her too. She gave us our veterinarian Rico, who we still see to this day. She was the golden. She was the goldenest of them all, and will be forever missed. Yeah. With a broken heart emoji. So, and it's true. Like she's just so awesome. Like I should ask my contact in the industry if you ever got a chance to hang out with her or film with her. Where are we here? But yes. Meanwhile, Jeff Widges, the actress's agent and longtime friend, recently revealed that Betty knew she was loved by millions of fans all around the world. Jeff explained that he always reminded Betty of her popularity with fans. Well, because you can't help but love Betty. She's great. Betty White, gone too soon. Remember our golden girl. Others we've lost into. Oh, it's a video. Okay. Like, there's nobody else anywhere that will ever be like Betty White.
You like Betty White because your grandmother is Betty White.
My grandmother is Betty White. Externally applied bath salts. All right. Honey, you should go to bed. You have to leave soon, early. Okay. Next story. Direct messages. Let's get to the next bunch of stories here. So we've got an interesting story out of New Brunswick that I found this morning. Apparently, there is a cluster of cases of young people who are experiencing rapid onset of neurological symptoms. And these people are becoming quite incapable of taking care of themselves. I think 9 of them have died. It's startling, and the government seems to be very interested in making this appear less like a cluster of undiagnosed problems and more like a random occurrence of people. And people are, doctors are very concerned. So, we're going to take a look at this. I don't see anyone else talking about it. Here it is. This is actually from The Guardian. Believe it or not. So let's get this shared here. So yeah, this was very interesting for me when I took a look at this morning. I was like, I have to read this because recipe for a comfy bath. I want to get a bag of the special gummy bears and eat the whole thing. Well, if you buy the gummy bears from a legal dispensary in Canada, you're gonna have to. Because they make them stick to like 10 milligrams of THC per food item. Like even the people at the dispensaries are like, yeah, I still just go to my friends who bake if I want edibles, because unless you're looking for something with high CBD, because Health Canada is a little bit less restrictive on the amount of CBD you can put in food. It's just still better to like make your own or get a friend to do it for you so that you can get a real, like an actual effective amount of THC in your edibles. I like to get there are drinks that I like to get from the dispensary that I go to. They have I think it's like 10 milligrams of THC, but they have something like 10 or 20 milligrams of CBD in them too. So I like to buy those. I get them from the manufacturer. It gets lollipops too, but they all taste like weed. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. Oh, bones and joint. Yeah, Mitchell, my back pain is yeah, it's in like my back pain is all in the vertebrae and hips, but my old doctor was unwilling to figure out what it is, what it is about. I'm waiting for my new doc to come back from mat leave. Uh, and then when she does, I'm going to go and be like, please help me figure this out. It hurts. Okay. So, This is... Did I get this shared?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, whistleblower warns of baffling illness affects growing number of young adults in Canadian province. And no, it's not COVID. So this says several new cases in New Brunswick involve caretakers of those afflicted, suggest a possible environmental trigger. Young adults are developing troubling symptoms, including rapid weight loss, insomnia, hallucinations, and limited mobility. This is big.
Glasses is 4 inches closer than it was.
Right here. Okay. Thank you. Are you off to bed or? Good night, sweetie. So, as I said, this is from The Guardian. Let's see. THC is evil, says Costin. Allow blind press to hoard it all. Yes, give me all the THC. Send it to my P.O. box. But only if you're in Canada. I don't want you to get in trouble sending things internationally. Okay. A whistleblower in the Canadian province of New Brunswick has warned that a progressive neurological illness that has baffled experts for more than 2 years, magically around the same time that COVID has started, but nobody is saying this in the article, appears to be affecting a growing number of young people and causing swift cognitive decline among some of the afflicted. What?
Is it the brain slug I keep talking about? I'm sorry.
Speaking to The Guardian, an employee with Vicalite Health Network, one of the province's 2 health authorities, says that suspected cases are growing in number and that young adults with no prior health triggers are developing a catalog of troubling symptoms, including rapid weight loss, insomnia, hallucinations, difficulty thinking, and limited mobility. The official number of cases under investigation is 48. Remains unchanged since it was first announced in early spring 2021, but multiple sources say the cluster could now be as many as 150 people. With a backlog of cases involving young people still requiring further assessment. Quote, I am truly concerned about these cases because they seem to evolve so fast, said the source. I'm worried for them and we all owe them some kind of explanation. This is really scary because everyone is focusing on COVID. And everything else is falling to the wayside. There are surgeries that are being pushed back, not just in Canada, but in many developed countries. Surgeries are being pushed back. Other healthcare things are being pushed back. Some 20,000 high school students in my region's school board alone were behind in their very necessary vaccine, like their boosters for meningitis, hepatitis B, and HPV. And all because of COVID. because those vaccines are generally given out at the school. I wonder if it's pollution causing this, something in the water, says Michelle. Well, Pincalo, my man, breaking backs out here. Gulf City, Johnny Blaze. There is a rare genetic condition where urine smells like maple syrup. Interesting. At the same time, at least 9 cases have been recorded in which 2 people in close contact but without genetic links have developed symptoms, suggesting that environmental factors may be involved. One suspected case involved a man who was developing symptoms of dementia and ataxia. His wife, who was his caregiver, suddenly began losing sleep and experiencing muscle wasting, dementia, and hallucinations. Now her condition is worse than his. A woman in her 30s was described as nonverbal, is with a feeding tube and drools excessively. Her caregiver, a nursing student in her 20s, also recently started showing symptoms of neurological decline. In another case, a young mother quickly lost nearly 60 pounds, developed insomnia, and began hallucinating. Brain imaging showed advanced signs of atrophy. This is scary. And this is because of COVID. It's getting shoved under a rock. And there are so many, like as we're about to read, there are fears that the government is covering this up. The Vitality employee who asked not to be named because they were unauthorized to speak publicly and feared repercussions for speaking out, said they decided to come forward because of growing concerns over the speed with which young people have deteriorated. Quote, "This is not a New Brunswick problem, or a New Brunswick disease," said the employee. Quote, "We're probably the area that is raising the flag because we're most rural and in an area where people might have more exposure to environmental factors. Brain scans. Let's see here. But in January, the province of New Brunswick's. But in January, the province of New Brunswick is widely expected to announce that the cluster of cases first made public last year after a memo was leaked to the media is the result of misdiagnoses, which have mistakenly grouped unrelated illnesses together. How can you make that determination when nobody knows what this is yet? I don't understand that. Ataxia causes extreme clumsiness. Oh, is that what ataxia is? Thank you, Wikipedia snippet. Pareidolia is no joke. 36 hours on no sleep is no joke. Yeah, no, I've suffered from sleep issues my whole life, and it sucks. It's not fun. And insomnia itself can cause hallucinations. If you are awake long enough, you can start hallucinating. In fact, I think it's, 96 hours? If you're awake for 96 hours straight, you can be declared legally insane. The Special Neurodegenerative Disorders Clinic, also called the Mind Clinic in the city of Moncton, is the clearinghouse for cases referred from within the region, as well as neighboring provinces. Prospective cases have typically stumped doctors and resisted a battery of standard neurological tests used to rule out certain conditions. Using a case description guideline developed by a team of neurologists and epidemiologists, the clinic decides if the patients warrant further investigation or if they may have a known illness or disease. Determining who becomes part of the cluster is subjective, largely because the brain is notoriously difficult to study. Certainty is often only obtained after the patient dies and the cerebral tissue can be fully tested. Yeah. That is the sad part about brain illnesses. We just don't understand. Weed and beer help. Oh yeah, God bless weed. I have insomnia. Day 3 I get bad. Oh, Mitchell, that sucks. I feel you. It really sucks. Despite the striking details surrounding the newer cases, the province has worked to tamp down fears. In October, officials suggesting that the 8 fatal cases were the result of misdiagnoses, arguing that instead of suffering from a shared neurological illness, the victims had died of known and unrelated pathologies. Because, politicians know that. Because, when you become a politician, you have to go to medical school. Jesus Christ. But experts familiar with the cluster are alarmed largely because of the age of the patients. Neurological illnesses are rare in young people. Yeah, they are. They usually only happen with acquired brain injury cases, or like if you've got some sort of like a neurological disability or something, like a cerebral palsy or something like that. So yeah, quote, the fact that we have a young spectrum of patients here argues very strongly against what appears to be the preferred position of the government of New Brunswick, that the cases in this cluster are being mistakenly lumped together, said a scientist at the Canada's Public Health Agency. When a scientist at the Federal Public Health Agency is saying that this looks like the government really doesn't want this to be a cluster, you have a problem. Okay? I got my brain injury at age 12, says Golf City Johnny Blaze. Oh, man. So the scientist with the Canada's Public Health Agency, who specializes in neurodegenerative illnesses, but was unauthorized to speak. Of course, because, he's telling the truth. In October, the province also said an epidemiological report suggested there was no significant evidence of any known food, behavior, or environmental exposure that could explain the illness. Tim Beatty's father, Laurie, Laurie or Rory? Laurie, yeah. Tim Beatty's father, Laurie, a retired hardware employee, died in 2019 after the onset of mental confusion around Christmas marked the beginning of his rapid deterioration. Beatty says the family was, quote, gobsmacked when he learned his father was one of the 8 people a pathologist controversially declared was improperly diagnosed and had instead died of Alzheimer's. Beatty and his sister have pleaded to have their father's remains tested for neurotoxins, including Vita methylmunyl alanine, or BMA, which some have suggested could be the culprit behind the illness. In one study, high concentrations of BMA were found in lobster, an industry that drives the economy of many in New Brunswick's coastal communities. The province's apparent resistance to testing for suspected environmental factors has led to speculation among families that the efforts to rule out the existence of a cluster could be motivated by political decision making. This is really, really bad. The fact that the government seems reluctant to test for environmental factors because it might harm the economy. You know what would harm the economy more? Fucking dead citizens. And citizens that can't take care of themselves. Quote, if a group of people wanted to breed conspiracy theories, then our government has done a wonderful job at promoting it, said Beatty. Quote, are they just trying to create a narrative for the public that they hope will absorb and walk away from? I just don't understand it. Yeah, that's a very good question. Because that is... I was in a car accident. That's when it started back in 2003. Oh, dude, Johnny, that really sucks, man. That really sucks. All right. So, documents obtained through Freedom of Information requests and seen by The Guardian show that at some countries, public health agencies were considering BMA as a possible cause, but needed the province to order the testing. I don't know why the province... Sorry, quote, I don't know why the province wouldn't simply do the testing. Do the science. And look, they have my dad's remains. We've given them full permission to do toxicology and do what needs to be done, said Beatty. Quote, yet nothing has been looked at. But experts nonetheless warn that testing is also more difficult than the public realizes. Yes, that is true. But basically, conspiracy theory husbandry. Exactly. Exactly, Wiki. Exactly. Jesus Christ, Russian bots. Wait, are they back? All right. Next story. Now it's time for our sciencey stuff. So this story will make Scribe Light very sad. It's from space.com. But yes, this story is going to make Scribbles very sad. And you will see why as soon as I share the screen. Come on. Come on. Come on. Okay. I remember that line from The Running Man. Jesus Christ, guess again. Yep. Okay. Here we go. Going to share the screen here. So, as soon as I share this screen, you will see why this story will make Scribe very sad. As I said, it was published on space.com, and it is titled, "Why Can't We Put a Space Station on the Moon? No moon base for Scribbles." Very sad. Very, very sad. Come on, Chrome. Ah, I didn't mean to close the fucking article. Now I have to open it again and share it again. It would be easier to have a moon base than the ISS. It would. But, you know, who wants to hear that shit? Sorry guys, it's being slow. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Gotten rid of all the notification nonsense. Let's share this screen again. Apologies, friends. Apologies. Okay, here we go. My network just crashed, so I'll catch you later. Alright, Spittlebuggies, no worries. That makes me a sad panda. Sexual harassment panda. Alright. So, why can't we have a space station on the moon? Where is it here? Why are you not letting me find the stupid headline? Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to find the headline here. There we go. Why can't we put a space station on the moon? By Ian Whitaker. Published 1 day ago from space.com. All right. And so we've got an illustration of a future moon base. So this is published originally on The Conversation as part of the Curious Kids series. Okay. Here we go. A space station on the moon could be very useful. It would provide future space missions with a stopping point between leaving the Earth and reaching further into the solar system or even the Milky Way. Yeah. It would also provide practice grounds for places like Mars with the basically zero atmosphere and lower gravity. One reason we haven't built a space station on the moon is that we don't send people there very often. We have only managed to put astronauts on the moon 6 times. So far, these moon landings took place in a 3-year period between 1969 and 1972. And we're part of a series of space missions called the Apollo missions. We all know that. The type of rocket used to get astronauts to the moon was an extremely powerful one called a Saturn V rocket, which is no longer produced. This means that at the moment, we do not have a rocket powerful enough to get people to the moon, let alone build a space station there. Okay, but don't you think maybe we could focus on building another one instead of trying to get to Mars? Don't you think it would be a little bit more feasible to try to solve that problem? The problem of a rocket powerful enough to get us to the moon and to get us to be able to build a station there, rather than a ship with rockets powerful enough to, first of all, get us out of the Earth's atmosphere with all the crap we would need to take with us to start a colony somewhere else. Not to mention propellant and engines that would get us there in a respectable amount of time. Like, don't you think maybe we should perfect stuff like that by using the moon instead of just saying, fuck the moon, let's go to Mars? Like, you might as well just, honestly, you might as well just be like, screw the moon, let's try and get to Titan or Europa. We are starting to build powerful rockets again. Space exploration company SpaceX is creating newer and bigger rockets which are capable of taking the weight of astronauts to the moon. NASA is also planning new missions to take astronauts to the moon. However, there is a big difference between a short trip and building a space station on the moon, which is extremely difficult. One way we would do it would be to build it in pieces on Earth Take the pieces to the moon and assemble them there. Yeah. Again, much more feasible than getting to Mars. First of all, trying to get to Mars, having the. First of all, humans are not going to be able to build a habitat, like construct the habitat on Mars. You're going to need to build robots that are programmed and delicate enough to be able to put together the habitats and construct the environmental systems. Then you have to worry about the environmental systems being clogged with dust. And at least on the moon, there's zero atmosphere. There's no wind, right? Mars still has some atmosphere. There's still some wind. Dust still moves. So you've got a much bigger chance of dust clogging environmental systems. I'm 99% sure that Elon wants to go to Mars so he can make himself king of Mars and secede from Earth. Yeah. Yeah, there's let's see. This would be like how the ISS was built. Pieces were taken into space and then put together aboard the space shuttle. Yeah. However, the International Space Station is only 200 miles or 400 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. The moon is 230,000 miles or 384,000 kilometers. Each trip to the moon would take about 3 days and would require incredible amounts of fuel. Okay, do you guys not know how long it takes to get to Mars? If you go when the planets are aligned, I think it takes something like a year or 15 months. And if the planets aren't, it takes like 20. Like, this is really stupid. Keeping a station in orbit and maintaining it must be nuts, though. Oh, yeah. Like all the little corrections you've got to make. Anyway, potentially adding to climate problems on Earth. Oh, fuck off. A much better idea would be to build as much of a base as possible from materials found on the moon. Lunar concrete is being tested on Earth as a possible building material. You know, I'm sure there are caves in the moon too that we could terraform. Like, that's another thing we should be really thinking about using on Mars instead of attempting to build complete separate freestanding modules to live in. We should attempt to install environmental systems in like cave systems. Because that might be a better protection from solar radiation as well. This being, on Earth you would make concrete from, come on, catch up, from gravel or sand, cement, and water. We have none of those things on the moon. But what we do have is lunar dust and sulfur. These can be melted and mixed together. Once this mixture cools, it produces a solid material that is stronger than any material we use on Earth. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. I like your cave idea. Just seal off one and then bam. Yeah. Yeah, like figure out a way to have a decompression chamber between inside and outside. Food and power is the next heading. We also need to think about what astronauts staying on the space station would need. The most important thing would be a food supply and electricity to power equipment, food protection, and breathable air. Scientists have been working on how to grow food and grow food in space, on board the International Space Station. Astronauts are carrying out experiments to try to grow vegetables using soil pillows. Another option would be to grow plants using hydroponics, which means that plants grow in water, not soil. Interesting. You mean like on Star Trek? The hydroponics bay. One way to get around this problem would be to build the space station at either the north or south pole of the moon and raise the solar panel above the surface. These panels would get cast sunlight as they can rotate and not be blocked by the planet at all. Alternatively, the moon might not even need a base on the surface of the moon at all. Instead, NASA is planning to build a satellite to orbit the moon. Rockets launching from the lunar surface use more fuel to escape the moon's gravity, but this would not be so difficult from a satellite. This means it would be even better than a base on the moon, a gateway for missions heading further into the solar system. Well, that still counts as a moon base. It's just orbiting the moon. That's right. Average distance between Earth and Mars is 9 months, shortest 3, longest 19. Or 18. Yeah. So, I mean, much farther than the moon. So yeah, that's basically why they say we can't have one on the moon. Oh my goodness. And I'm starting to lose my voice, guys. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this. And I am going to be doing a Beat the Blind Girl stream tomorrow night, though, on Twitch. So come by and check that out. I hope you all have a great rest of your day/night. I thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great time. Come back on Wednesday night I'm hoping we'll do Canadian Wednesday. Hopefully Functional and I can get together and do a stream. And of course, again, as I said, tomorrow, Beat the Blind Girl over on Twitch. Thank you for watching. Have a fantastic night, guys, and I will see you later. Bye!